Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Birdies with Boynsy. Sam and Liam collared me in the car park the other morning. They want to know about not fatting a shot from 100 yards and in. So we're going to start on that 100-yard mark. I'm 100 yards, I've zapped it, 100 yards away from the flag exactly. To me, that's a full 54. This will be the easiest part of the video. When we get into that 70, 50, 30 yards, that's when it's going to become harder. We'll be changing clubs, but hopefully we can give you a few hints and tips of how to cover that. My educated guess, what you're doing wrong is keeping that weight on the trail side and trying to get under the ball and help it up. When we want to have a good transfer of weight, cover that golf ball and make sure we're striking into that ground to get the ball sending up high. Also, when we get onto those shorter shots, a couple of other things that we might be doing: losing a little bit of speed through the swing, trying to control the distance from the speed of swing rather than the length of backswing. We need to control the length of backswing and accelerate through to control our distance rather than having a longer swing and coming through slower to try and control the distance that way. So let's have a shot in. I'm going to try and transfer my weight. This is a full swing. This will be the easier one. When we get to those half shots, 3/4 swings, they'll be more tricky, and then we'll show again a couple of hints and tips of how to deal with that. Delighted with that shot in. Full shot, I said, was going to be a bit easier. We're going to move a few yards further forwards, have a look at some little things that we can do to help with those shorter shots and try and get them just as close. Move 25 yards closer. I've kept the same club. Some people might be changing to a more lofted club, trying to help it up in the air, but I think my lob wedge I like to use for in and around the green. I like to play my 75, 50 yard shots. There's enough loft on my 54 for these shots. So how are we going to play that? When we're playing these shots, we can maybe just set up a little bit further forward with the weight on that left side to try and help it keep it off that back side. As I was just saying back there, people will keep that weight on the trail side and then come into the ground, not that far behind the ball, but way behind the ball and catch it heavy. We've got to drive into the back of it, get that strike. The conditions this time of year are not easy for this shot, so that's why you probably haven't asked me about it in the summer, Liam and Sam, because you're hitting nice shots, you're nice and aggressive, confidence is high. As soon as we get one bad shot, we're going to fall into even worse habits and try and help it more by staying back and getting under it, when actually we want to transfer that weight onto the front side, strike into the back of the ball and send it nice and high. The second thing I want to look at for this is the length of backswing. I'm 25 yards closer. For me, that's a 3/4 swing. So I'm going to keep the swing a little bit shorter, but make sure I accelerate through. Again, as I said previously, people will be keeping that swing just as long, but trying to control the distance by slowing down and not completing their swing, and that's when the strike can disappear a little bit as well. Also, they did mention about not only just fatting them, but catching some of them a little bit thin could be a little bit flicky, trying to help them flick it up. Focus on that strike, get into the back of the ball. We're into 50 yards now, even closer. I mean, look how close we are to the green. Hopefully you can see those lovely shots I've just hit in there. Controlled the distance beautifully. Liam and Sam, they're not made up people. I'm not just picking shots that I know I can play. They have actually asked me for this. So 50 yards. You might be thinking it looks a little bit too close. Well, I'm going to stay with my 54. You can go for a little bit more lofty club, but there's nothing necessarily to land the ball over, to fly the ball over. I want to land it on the front of the green and just let it release up to the flag. How are we going to do that? A little bit of an exaggeration from the previous shots. Might even grip down for a little bit of control. Now we're into that 50-yard distance. Wait a little bit further forward to start with. Even shorter swing. Make sure we accelerate through. If you're struggling with controlling the distance on the backswing, practice from a shorter distance first. Try and get that 10, 20, 30 yards in rather than starting from 70 and getting closer. So if you can control that shorter distance, we can then add distance on easily and you can control that length of the backswing. Just said wait a little bit further forward, balls maybe a little bit further back in the stance, and we're just going to make sure we shorten that swing to about halfway and accelerate through. Well, what about those three shots? One from 100 yards, one from 75 and one from 50. Could throw a blanket over them if you want, but a little bit of a tricky putt. Haven't been playing much. It is a little bit of winter. Give me a little bit of a break. So thanks Liam and Sam for that little tip, or little what they wanted to know. Make sure you get that weight going over the ball. Transfer that weight forward, and for the distance of the swing, focus more on the backswing and then keep that acceleration up through the swing. Don't have a long swing with no power through it. If you're struggling for that distance, start off from short or even chipping from the side. Learn how far each club, each little shot goes. Charlie, bunker's nearly back in operation. We'll get onto your video soon. Thanks for all the requests, guys. Hope everyone's enjoying 2024, and let's get some more videos going.